Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Thoughts and Coffee. My power just went out. My internet just rebooted 30 seconds ago. So if I seem a little disarrayed, that's because of what's been going on this morning. Audrey said something about a solar panel, solar power storm, or something like that. I don't know. She'll talk about that when she comes up. Anyways, good morning. My name is Sarah Barnes-Humphrey. I am the founder and host of Let's Talk Supply Chain. I'm also the founder and host of the Blended podcast, which is the newest conversation in diversity and inclusion. And yeah, I'm just super excited to be here with you every single Tuesday morning. So let's get started. We've got a lot of great things that are happening. We've got a lot of really fun, valuable supply chain topics that we're talking to you about this morning. And of course, Audrey Ross, my trade bestie, is here with me today as well. So let's get into the what we're going to be talking about first, which is our newest episode, and I'm completely on the wrong tab. Here we go. So, the newest episode that came out yesterday, I had a discussion with Tools Group, and we talked all about their supply chain planning software. And it was such a great episode. We got to dive into what they're doing, how their platform is helping their customers, real life examples of what that actually looks like. So you as a potential customer can listen and learn as to how their platform could potentially help you in your supply chain. So go and check that out. We've just put the link in the comments for you. Great episode. So go and check that out. What do we have next? Oh, we've got lots of events. Can I just tell you? So we've got Log Tech Live. So we've got a series of new live shows that are happening every single month. Log Tech Live is the first Friday of every month at 10 a.m. Eastern, sponsored by Chain.io. And then this Wednesday, so tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern, Topple is coming back with Purpose, Planet, Profit with Topple. Chris is going to be talking about farm to table. They're going to be interviewing and having a conversation with Seed Place, I believe. And so that's going to be a really great conversation around sustainability and blockchain. And so we are going to have the link in the comments for you as well, because we've got lots of registration pages, event pages that you can click attend and not miss out on any of those. Coming in hot with Abby Baird. That's the fourth Thursday of every month at 12:30, and she's talking about careers in supply chain, what it's like to be in supply chain. She is a supply chain and marketing student over at the University of Arkansas, and we are super lucky to have her talking about these important topics. And then next week, I think it's next Wednesday, we have this webinar happening in conjunction with Nucleus, Insights on the Borderless Workforce. I mean, we are talking about going back to work in a hybrid fashion, a couple of days in, a couple of days at home. We're talking about what the new normal looks like for the workforce. So go and check that out. We've got the registration. We want you to register, come and join us for this kind of lunch and learn around remote working, and I can't wait to see you there. We've got E2 Open coming up November 10th, and we're talking about letting the data speak. And I know Susan Walsh is probably, excited about this one because she is all about the data. And then I am doing a webinar on sustainable packaging with Corey Connors for the Canadian Health Food Association over on November 4th. So register for that one as well. And then, of course, November 18th, I'm going to be at Blue Sky. Wow, it's a busy month. That is for sure. What else have we got? I think that is pretty much it. Oh, I do want to let you guys know. So Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia Pack is in full swing. So AJ, can you put the link to this page in the comments as well? Would love to have you head over and follow them here. They are talking to all the organizations, all the companies within the Asia Pacific region, all about what's happening in supply chain over there. And Jonathan Kempe is the host of that. So we'd love to have you join us over there as well. And remember, we are giving away a supply chain dictionary. If you direct message us on Instagram. So the Let's Talk Supply Chain Instagram, direct message us Talk1, and you'll be able to get our supply chain dictionary for free. And if you engage with Let's Talk Supply Chain Asia Pac and Let's Talk Supply Chain over the course of the month, you will get your free Let's Talk Supply Chain mug. So highly, highly encourage you to do that as well. All right, without further ado, let's bring up Audrey. We have a lot to talk about. Good morning, Audrey.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Why don't you do an introduction for those that
That's
don't know
right.
you?
For anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Audrey Ross. I'm in Toronto. I'm an in-house logistics and customs specialist at Orchard Custom Beauty. So I cover international trade, global value chain, supply chain, shoring. I'm doing a lot of customs right now, a lot of import and export. We had some little hiccups with sending some goods by courier into Italy.
You
So
have?
all that kind of fun stuff I deal with.
That sounds like so much fun. Actually,
Oh,
so I heard something on HLN this morning. We're gonna talk about that in a second because and I think it was somebody from the Port of Los Angeles, and it was kind of funny. We really, really need to talk about that. But first, let me say hi because we've got Davin, we've got Salmon, we've got Joe, and we've got Sheik over on my personal LinkedIn. Just want to say hello to you over there. I also want to introduce you to somebody because yesterday I did a post. I don't know if you all saw it, but I want to introduce you to Supply Chain Sarah. She is who I channel whenever I need some positive energy, positive vibes. And yesterday in my post, I just wanted to wish everybody a really great week ahead. We
yeah.
did. We had a character artist come to one of our Zoom meetings, and he gave us these videos of him actually putting together our caricatures. And so I thought I would share that with you because it was so much fun. Stay tuned for Audrey's because Audrey has one too. I don't know what she's going to call her. So I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
we'll see. I guess we just have to stay tuned, right? You're going to do a post about this and you're going to
Yes,
post your video.
and I'll create a sort of alter ego persona. Yeah. Okay.
Because Sarah Scudder did it too. So Sarah Scudder has one too. And I think she's Miss Sustainability Sarah or something
Well,
like that.
yeah.
So now we all
Hashtag
have our
spider sense.
alter egos. Okay. There's a couple of things that I want to talk about. So first of all, actually, I need to figure out my share screen
Yep.
because I want to
Well,
share something else with you. So I was going through Walmart. I was shopping at Walmart the other day, and I don't know if you guys saw my here it is. Oh no, here it is. Okay, I don't know if you guys saw my post on Instagram.
yes.
But this is an autonomous robot that was cleaning Walmart while I was walking around the store. And just for fun, I got in its way just to see what it would do. And it totally went around me, which, thank goodness. I mean, that's what it's supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show you that we definitely have autonomous vehicles in our future, and it's already happening at Walmart to clean the floors.
It's always interesting when we see new technology come in because you expect it to be used for like this higher purpose. And then it's like the first autonomous vehicles on the road are solving like this complicated problem. It's like, no, they're cleaning the Walmart.
Which I thought was awesome.
It's
The
so
other
neat
thing
now.
the other thing that I heard on, HLN this morning is that Walmart is already issuing Black Friday sales.
Yeah.
So you know there's a problem with the supply chain
Yeah.
if they're already doing Black Friday sales. So if that is any indication to anybody listening this morning, go and do your Christmas shopping or your holiday shopping, whatever that looks like for you,
Yeah.
but go and do it. The other thing is they had the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles on HLN talking about the backlog at
That's
the
the
port.
person.
One of the things that he said, and as a shipper, Audrey, I need you to weigh in on this. One of
Okay.
the things that he said was that they have to determine the cargo that is out on the water and
Mhm.
whether it's actually needed or if it was just ordered for just in case so that they can prioritize the cargo that's coming into the port.
Okay, way too late for that. Like they should be doing that if that's going to be a thing, which I would understand if that was going to be a thing. got to do it at the port of origin. You got to sort it out there. You can't be like, oh, now, like, yeah, all my stuff is important. It's for launches. I do
Well,
promotional. Like
so my
anything that says
question is,
orchard on it, put that first,
who are they going to ask?
right?
Because who is going to say that your inventory is just in case,
No
first of
one.
all? And
People don't
second
even
of all, how
declare
are they going
dangerous
to do
goods.
that?
Yeah. People
Like, I just,
already don't declare dangerous goods, let alone, oh, it's just overstock. I don't need it. People will set your boat on fire instead of telling you the truth. But yeah, they're going to tell you they don't have overstock.
I listened to that and I
No,
was like, but how? I mean, it sounds really, really good.
sure.
But
Yeah.
there is no shipper on this planet that is going to say that their goods are just in case.
No.
And everybody's goods at the moment need to get into the port because they're all destined for
Yeah.
holiday shopping. And so, how are you going to determine who gets to come in and who doesn't?
Yeah.
I
You
don't
you
know.
kind of you kind of wonder, like you see all these people now wading into it, like, oh, we need to solve this problem, but you're like, do you even know how some of this really, how we interact and how things are integrating? Like,
Oh, I heard that and I was like,
oh my gosh.
is Audrey going to get a phone call? Hi, this is the
Hi.
Perdue.
I
Just
know
want
you
to
have
know.
3 pallets on one container and 10 pallets on this other container on this other boat. How?
Anyways, if any of you out there get that particular phone
Yes,
call,
please let
can
us
you
know.
please message me and let me know because I'd like to know what they're
So
asking
curious.
and how they're trying to figure this out. Just
Yeah.
saying. Anyways, okay, let's get to more positive things.
Oh my
So, on Sunday,
gosh.
we're not going to do the question of the week today. We are going to talk about my Sunday post. So, every Sunday,
Yeah.
I do post about a little bit of leadership just to get out of supply chain, just a little bit, and get us thinking about different perspectives and just different things from a leadership perspective. So, this past Sunday, so Lisa Fenton, she posted this on Instagram last week, and I absolutely loved it. So, I swooped it from her. And we posted it on LinkedIn because I thought, we're going into the fall months. It's getting darker a little bit earlier. And so I thought, what a great way to really focus on happiness and maybe some of the things that we might need to work on. And I can tell you, there's a bunch of things on this list that I need to work on. But I really love this. And it resonated with a lot of people. There was a lot of people that came back and said, I need to work on 3 and 7, or, I'm already doing 4, 5, and 6. And so it really got people reflecting on what happiness means to them and what they're doing or what they're not doing to be their best selves. So when you saw this, Audrey, what did you think?
Oh, I thought, well, I love Lisa, but I thought this was great. To clarify one thing, we're in the northern hemisphere, so northern hemisphere people are going into that dark winter. Southern hemisphere people have a whole other season, so they might not realize that northerners are jacking up on their vitamin D and
I
getting
totally
ready for a cold winter. But
Was there any on here that sort of resonated with you that you might need
oh,
to
for
work on
sure.
or that you're doing already? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, number 5, not doing the self-pity thing. I've done a lot of work, I think, over the last little bit on that.
Mm.
So that's coming along. Not living in the past. I think, I don't know, maybe it's as I hurdle towards 40, I think that's dropped off a little bit,
Mhm.
because in my 20s, it was everything that had happened before. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so number 1 kind of jumped out at me, lack of suspicion and resentment.
Yeah.
So really thinking that people are coming with that good intention and giving them the benefit of the doubt that they are coming with good intention and maybe we're just interpreting it wrong or maybe they just aren't very good at communicating or not communicating it well.
Yeah.
And so number 1 kind of really kind of set the tone for this whole thing for me because sometimes, we go into it and we get so caught up in the emotion that we don't think about the intention behind it. And, just going back and saying, listen, I know you had good intentions about it. It was like the Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill, did you see that? Jonah Hill going back to Sharon Stone.
Oh, okay.
So she had made a comment about his body, and he had
Uh,
come back publicly and said, "Listen, I know you have good intentions behind this. I
yeah.
know you're not trying to be awful about this, but please don't talk about my body."
Yeah.
So very, very, very good example that's out in the media at the moment as to, I recognize that you've got good intentions, but
Yeah.
let's not, this is not something that I want to talk about.
Mm.
And so really
Boundaries, good.
respectfully being able to go back and communicating what that actually means to us. So anyways, I thought that was a really good one. A lot of people thought that that was really good as well. So
Yeah.
I'm just glad that everybody
It's a
liked.
good conversation in there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I also want to say hello to Con, who is over on my personal LinkedIn as well. Hello. We try to include everybody here, obviously, and so happy to have you here as well. All right, let's get to our supply chain topics. What are we talking about today? So, the first one, of course, you guys know that I love the hustle. And I try to include an article from the hustle as much as I can, especially when they're talking about supply chains. So this one got my eye. It caught my eye because it says cities are turning to virtual farms to keep their supply chains upright, which I thought was really, really interesting because I thought about, before even reading the article, what is going on in farming that is really disrupting our supply chains? Well, first of all, we've heard a lot about the truck driver shortage. We've heard the constraints that are on the trucking industry themselves. And so obviously my first thought went to that. But this article goes into a little bit more depth. And it talks about how farming really does have a lot of waste. A lot of food goes to waste because it can't actually make it to the urban grocery stores for one reason or another. One reason, for example, the trucking, but there's a variety of reasons as well as to why they don't make it to the stores. And so, what vertical farming actually does for us is kind of like the mini warehousing. So you're
Mhm.
actually having micro warehouses closer to your customer. This is having vertical farming closer to the urban grocery stores so you can get the product there easier and faster. And then my mind from there went into the carbon footprint and how much of the carbon footprint we're going to save by doing that. So this article, though it's short, was extremely fascinating to me because it hits so many different points. What did you think about this?
Yeah, it was so thought provoking. And I think you and I think we talked about vertical farming sometime either earlier this year,
Yep.
just about how inventive and innovative a concept it is. But then now that we're in this supply chain that we're trying to shorten,
Hmm.
and now that we're in, people are like actively, not just sort of talking about, but actively trying to find solutions to reduce waste, reduce loss and improve their carbon footprint and improve their emissions and that. I think this is really such a fascinating concept for us to actually turn it into the market. And so, yeah, it's vertical farming seems to have a lot of, kind of immediate solutions for us. And yeah, it's exciting.
So one of the barriers to entry to vertical farming, and this is an article that was brought out, in April 2020. So
Mhm.
it is a bit older, and I guess I would like to see how far we've kind of come from then until now. However, one of the barriers to entry is that vertical farming costs a lot of money. But vertical farming is also getting a lot of investment, excuse me, currently as
Yeah,
well. And
yeah,
so I guess it'll be interesting to see what kind of industries like vertical farming take the sort of micro warehousing approach that retailers are taking to get closer to their customers
yeah,
and what effect that's going to have on the supply chain because it makes it shorter. You probably need smaller vehicles,
yeah,
so you don't need the larger trucks anymore depending on where they're delivering to. It's going to be, produce that is, going to be delivered within that region
yeah,
rather than moving from, one end of the US maybe to the other or one end of the US into Canada.
yeah,
And it's just, I mean, this is just crazy. So it'll be interesting to see what other industries kind of jump on board to
yeah.
something like this as well.
And interesting to see that, like, one last thought on cost. It's like, is it more expensive to have all this wastage and carbon emissions, right? Not just
Mhm.
dollars. Like, don't we always think in dollars? Is it more expensive to have all this wastage? or is it more expensive to make investment in more efficient process?
Well, so one thing that this article did say is that farmers typically right now, they split their produce between restaurants and grocery
Retail,
stores.
grocery?
But what they said was that it's too expensive for grocery stores to pivot 100% one way, even when the restaurants were closed because of COVID, which I
Yeah.
thought was a really interesting fact because that, like, I don't understand the mechanics about behind that, and I'd like to get to know that a little bit more to find out where we can reduce the cost so that they can pivot
Yeah.
a little bit more back and forth, and maybe that's going to help with some of the waste when it comes to farming as well.
Mhm.
Anyways, really, really fascinating. Like I said, it's a short article, but it just got all of my
Put all it
wheels
down.
turning in so many different directions. All right, so next article we are talking about, this is an article from CNET, and they have a series, I think, on Made in America. And so this, I think, is just one video. There's a video included in here. This article is just so thorough. I would highly recommend everybody go and read this article because it's extremely thorough. Or if anybody's asking you any questions about supply chain, send them this article because it's talking about trucking, it's talking about ocean freight, it's putting it into perspective on each level of the journey that a product possibly takes all the way to your door, and the players that are involved, and the challenges that they've been having in each step of the way. And so it covers rail, it covers truck, it covers all sorts of things. So I really, really like this article. A couple of stats that I took away from this article. So Asia to the US is now taking 69 days by ocean. Probably not something that is very surprising to too many people because we've been talking about this a lot, but it puts it into perspective how many days it's just taking to move the freight. That isn't including anything before, that's not including anything after.
Huh.
So you can just imagine what those what you have to do to prepare yourself for those 69 days. Shanghai to LA is, they're saying, is $12,000 for a container. I'm assuming that's a 20-foot because I haven't
I
seen
think it's
$12,000 for
like a
one.
TEU.
Yeah, okay.
So it's so that means one 20-foot or a 40-foot is 2 TEUs.
Yeah, and then they go into what Biden has been talking about for months and the task force that they've been putting together around supply chain for the last couple of months. One of the things that I also heard on I listen to US News in the morning. I like Robin Mead on HLN. She's my favorite.
Mhm.
Anyways, so they also said that Biden, one of his supply chain strategies is to keep the ports open 24/7. Which I thought was interesting because we have a supply chain labor shortage. So I'm not sure where they're going to find the labor to keep the ports open 24/7. Maybe they already have a plan around that. I have no idea. So we want to keep a close eye on that to see if that's actually going to be able to be put into place. But the other challenge that they haven't talked about is the trucker shortage on the other end of that. So yes, the ports can be open 24/7. We can get the containers potentially off the boats, but how
Where
do
do
we
they
get
go
them
next?
out?
Which has
Anyway,
been part of the problem.
I
Yeah.
don't know. And the other thing that he says is that it's critical to the security of the United States of America to actually make certain goods in the country, which is a very, very interesting statement, considering with the last administration, he was all about made in America, made in America, made in America. And everybody was kind of like, I don't know. And now Biden's coming back and say it's actually critical to our security that we are bringing these products back to be manufactured in the country. So the one thing that I thought was a little disturbing from the article is that they don't highlight the health of the seafarers. They talk about how 80% of global trade is shipped by ocean freight, but they don't talk about the health of the seafarers and how important that really is. And so I'd like to see a little bit more of that in sort of the mainstream media and something like an article like this great article that CNET put together. Couple other stats that I have, but Audrey, I've talked way too much about this article. So what do you think?
No, I love it because like you said, it really does give you like a point by point of how it happens,
Yeah.
right? And one of the things that stood out to me when we're talking about the labor, it's like they have, they use cranes to offload these containers, and
Yeah.
a crane operator works for 4-hour shifts, and there's actually a crew of 23 people to support that crane,
Really?
one crane as it's moving. That was in the article. And like that's fascinating because that gives you an idea of like, okay, well, if there's X amount of cranes and X amount of people, like how many people it needs. But I think, to the greater point, it's like when we look at who's ordering what and how it's moving, there's a jam up at the port. Yes, because the vessels are piling up. But why are the vessels piling up? Is it because of the offload piece alone? Or is it because the rest of the chain is also broken? And I think this pandemic has everything just a little bit broken. You can see the people who are trying to work in it. Like I'm trying to work. I'm behind on things that I was never behind on before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing documents and I'm missing little details that I would never have missed before. My broker's in the same position. The forwarders are in the same position. Everybody's just like a little bit stretched too thin. And so it's an interesting place to be, because how do you solve for every single person participating in this is stretched just a little too thin, right?
Well,
So I
and
don't think there's a quick fix for that.
no, and when you think about it, they said that there's like 200,000 containers right now in the
Yeah.
port of LA and Long Beach. I mean, those
Yeah.
numbers
It's
are
not
crazy. And
getting out.
they're saying that the largest ship holds 23,000
Nothing.
TEUs. So just
Yeah.
to put that into perspective,
Yeah.
and then intermodal, because we talk a lot about ocean freight and the vessels and all that, but intermodal pre-pandemic, I think
Yeah.
they said they were moving 270,000.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic hit, they were moving 215,000. And then once everybody started buying again, it went up to 310,000. So the
Yeah.
movement of that needle is just like, how do you even prepare for something like that? I mean, just the sheer numbers in this article is absolutely, absolutely crazy. Peter has given me the 5-minute warning.
Okay.
Joe has asked where the link to the article is. It should be in the comments there. Joe, if you don't see it, send me a message and I'll definitely send you that article because we want to make sure. Actually, AJ, can you repost the link to the article so that Joe can see that? All right. So, I haven't moved to the next one. And now look. Okay, here we go. See, I told you my internet went out like literally right before we went live.
Solar flares.
I know. Anyways, so this last article is very, very short. It's just an announcement from MSC talking about how they've launched new shuttles in the Trans-Pacific, connecting China to Long Beach. The reason why I wanted to talk about this is that it's all well and good that we're announcing these things, but where the hell is it going to go?
Yeah. And they name them things like Mustang and Puma, which implies that they're fast. And you're like, it's taking you 70 days, 70 days to get me my stuff. But you want to call it Puma service. Like, I think you need to recheck what Puma is, because it is not 70 days.
The fact that you honed in on the names of these vessels, like, that's not even something that even registered when I was reading this.
Yeah, they create these things and they call them this name, and you're like, what's the point of that? But two, it's like, really? It does not seem to serve. Like, the marketing is a little, like, where's the turtle service? Because that's what I feel like is happening right now.
Well, I just think, I mean, for me, I thought it was just kind of funny that they're announcing these two new vessels to move back and forth when we've got a huge backlog in the port of Long Beach that nobody knows how to clear up before Christmas.
Yeah.
And,
And
we're
it's
talking
created.
about, well, are they going to, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, we've hit the loop. So it's like stuff isn't going back fast enough now. So now stuff's not coming over. So the first 2 weeks of November, it's like all blank sailings. Nothing's coming.
Well, and are they going to ask the clients if it's just in case inventory or if it's actually? So anyways, that was our last article. I just wanted to bring it to your attention that MSC is going to add 2 more vessels to the rotation, but it could be stuck in the port of Long Beach for weeks, regardless of whether they name it Mustang and Puma. Puma? Is it Puma? Oh, okay. Anyways, we are about 30 seconds out. Peter, we are ending early today. I mean, I don't know what happened because I feel like I talked a lot today. Maybe I didn't give Audrey enough airtime. I don't know. But anyways, I just want to say thank you to everybody who joined us today again for Thoughts and Coffee. We've got Topple happening tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern live on all of our social media channels, and they're going to be talking about farm to table. So I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead. Next week, I think it's Davin that's joining me, which is going to be super, super exciting.
Wow.
And then Audrey Ross will be back in a couple of weeks. Thanks, Audrey. Thanks, everybody. Have a great